Welcome to another edition of the ISB podcast. I'm your host Sahil here with Ishana. We are returning for the Women's Olympics. Ishana, we just were waiting for this. It's finally happened, and of course, covering the U.S. Women's National Team, covering all their matches. We just went through the World Cup, and I feel like this is right where we left off. It feels like the next chapter, does it not?
Yeah, it does. However, I feel like we have gotten a good preview with Emma Hayes, so I don't feel like we're going into it with, you know, as much high stakes, I guess, as the World Cup. There aren't as all the powerhouses aren't present, so I'm, a little bit less pressure, but not much.
Yeah, I will say I did feel definitely that World Cup atmosphere as the matches kicked off today. So let's get into the first match. Of course, the U.S. women's national team started their Olympic journey against Zambia, the redemption tour, as we like to call it. And they got the 3-0 win, Ishana, but that doesn't tell the full story of this match.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I thought they started off very strong. I loved what we had up there. I think this should be the starting lineup, with the exception of maybe Night Swanger once, she's a bit more fit. However, I got to say, Dunn killed it in both positions. We can talk about that later. But, the chemistry up front with Rodman, Swanson, and Smith. I know that we've given Smith a hard time, but I really think that she is finding her footing as a power assister. And, Rodman had a sweet goal where she was doing her Trin things where she just loves to juke people out.
Yeah.
And Mallory Swanson is just an excellent finisher. I mean, so calm, so collected on the ball. It's something that I think other players need to look to her and to understand how to finish, because that is definitely something that we're struggling with.
Yeah, I think that was a huge difference in this particular match. I think just having Mal Swanson there to finish the chances. Obviously, the U.S. missed some chances early, and then the goals came in, and it was a flurry of goals with, like you said, the Trinity Rodman golazo, fantastic turning and spinning away, and then beautiful goal set up by Horan. And then after that, Mallory Swanson with two fantastic individual goals that were setting the tone for the match. And then a very strange incident happened, which was, of course, the Zambian red card. I don't think that was a red card.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was really unfortunate. I think that was definitely not a red card. I mean, sure, she was last line of defense and was potentially preventing a goal, but it was a very, very soft foul. And I really think that yeah, it was unfortunate. They have two of the most expensive players in the world, and this was like a chance. We were really excited to see what they're bringing on the table, and I think just starting off like that, it was sad. That being said, I really don't think we capitalized on playing with them having a player down. We really should have, I mean, the board, we should have put way more goals on there, and the second half was a real struggle.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. So after the U.S. went a woman up, it was, or Zambia went a person down, I should say. It actually looked worse. And, I thought the second half, the U.S. struggled with some of the same issues they had during the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, obviously, as soon as, we subbed out Smith, Rodman, Swanson, Haran, brought on Sonnet, Lynn Williams, it started to look a lot like the World Cup. And obviously there was a reason for that. But, I have to say, Lynn Williams did not have a great game. She really missed a lot of chances, and I think there were over 20 shots on goal. I mean, that is just something you got to put those away. And there were absolute sitters that were missed. Like Rodman missed one. Crystal Dunn missed a header. I do have to say though, her stepping up and playing from the back and then coming on and playing forward, she is just excellent. Like, she
Yeah.
really is a great vet veteran presence there. I thought Haran had a decent game, but yeah, I mean, I think set pieces and finishing is something that we can definitely improve upon. And yeah, the chemistry, it just wasn't quite there. So I mean, with their B team, so to speak, I think they need a little bit more of some help there. But you just see like how much we were missing Mallory Swanson in the World Cup, just like
Yeah.
watching her, and it's just world of a difference.
Yeah, and of course, despite the expensive players on Zambia mentioned, besides those two, that it's a weaker team. It's the weakest team in the group. So this was a match that we expected the women's national team to win. Of course, they did win. We expected a statement, and we expected a little bit of a different approach to this than we did in the World Cup, which is, of course, was the Vietnam game where we thought, okay, they're going to score a lot more. And again, in this match, we thought, okay, great. 3-0. I was expecting in the second half a couple more goals to take us to the top of the group in terms of goal difference. That never happened despite being the extra person up. And frankly, it was just too slow, I thought, in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, even the first half, though, it was very strong, even in comparison to the Vietnam game, which was, we ended up the same. However, even despite getting 3 goals that game, I remember the entire game being like, we do not look good. The first half of this game was solid. Everybody, the team chemistry was definitely there. The second half, yes, we definitely and I think obviously we sat back a little bit. We want to preserve ourselves, not get injured, this and that. But yeah, with a player down, I just think it was a lot of just missed chances and some mistakes up front, and even in the back, actually, there were a few. They got some decent chances. Nair didn't have to do much, but she did a little bit.
Yeah, she did. That's the thing. Zambia had some chances, and Nair had to make some saves, and some of them Nair made it look easy, but some of them maybe another goalie would not have made it look so easy. So
Yeah, and I think also Zambia, we definitely broke down the low block, but they had some mistakes back there as well. So but yeah, it was the red card was just, it was unfortunate.
Yeah. So regardless, a win is a win, and the team looked good, like you said. And I think that front three of Swanson, Sophia Smith, and Trinity Rodman, if they fire like this, that's good for the U.S. women's national team moving forward, 100%. Very tough game, though, Ishana, coming up now, because we're going to play a team that's actually better than us according to the rankings, and right off the bat. And that's, of course, Germany.
Yeah, it's a little strange that the U.S. is favored on paper to win, to medal, and to, I mean, medal, sure, but to get the gold, because realistically, I mean, I'm not really sure why, based on the World Cup performance, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. I will say there might be something to us playing better against better teams. And, I think that is, and especially if we come out super strong in the beginning, I think that it's definitely very doable. It's an exciting tournament. There's also a lot of drama with, Canada and sneaking in some drones to spy on New Zealand's team.
Yeah, let's talk briefly about the rest of the tournament. Obviously, this video focuses a little bit on the U.S. women's national team, but let's talk a little bit. I mean, there was, of course, the fantastic match between France and Colombia, which some of the names that we've become familiar with, Linda Caicedo, and all the Colombian team, which we came to love during the World Cup, made some mistakes early on, down 3-0, and then it was a crazy comeback before Ramirez, of course, gets the red card. So it was just been wild. And then, of course, Ishana, what you're talking about, we already have one coach sacked basically for the duration of the Olympics, and the Canada coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wild. Like, it's very confusing, and I don't know. I almost want to, in a way, it sort of denigrates what what women's soccer is trying to do, and we want to be taken seriously, and It's rising rapidly, but at the same time, it also makes it kind of fun. It's like spicing it up a little bit. So I don't know. I think if anything, just having the fact that everybody's talking about all of this is good, and the fact that people are caring and talking about it, I think it's yeah, and the fact that they felt that they needed to spy on the competition and they were that pressed about it is also kind of interesting. I mean, I don't even know. I can't even imagine what was going on through. And this, I mean, this coach has to serve some time from this too.
The assistant, the person who orchestrated the drone, 8 months in prison. That's wild. So Canadian Soccer Federation didn't come out to a good start with regard to that. But okay, moving forward, just one quick note before we finish up the episode. Same starting lineup against Germany. You'd like to see Rose Lavelle start, and you'd like to see, with the same players up front.
Yeah, I think so. I do think also when Corbin Albert came in, she didn't do too much. She was kind of quiet. So I think I would like to see the same. Emily Fox also did not have the best game. She was a bit sluggish, but she's one of my favorite players. She's solid, and I think it works. And it's fun when we see players like Trin have the room to do what she does. And I think that's, coming out like that, playing confidently is how we need to approach this. If we start to kind of play tentatively, I think that's when we get into trouble.
Yeah. No, and the U.S. has to be very aware on set pieces. Germany scored a lot of, goals from headers in their first match against Australia. So something to be on the lookout for the U.S. women's national team. We are just starting our coverage of the Olympics with the women's national team and, of course, the tournament as a whole for women's soccer. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're excited for the potential coming videos, subscribe to the channel as well. We will say it proudly today, Ishana, as we kick off the Olympics. You can say it instead of me.
Go USA.